this barn conversion property to install 4 network data points, 2 in the office, 2 in the front room, to hopefully fix some issues with the Sky Q box. The last video I put out about how to install CCTV, a lot of you commented saying why we didn't cavity drill the network cable for the MVR. So today I'm gonna give it a go. So Steve wants a couple of network points put in here. We're gonna have to cavity drill it up, but it's rock hard material, I think he said, until it gets a bit further up. And if I can, I want to try and chase in a box so it's flush like those are, but again, it really does depend on how dense that material is behind there. But first thing we need to check is the loft, because if we're dropping down the cavities, I want to see that the cavity is clear. So let's do that. Just before we go all the way in, can you get just a single red rod out of the pack, please? Just because the ferret attaches to a rod and it just makes life a bit easier. So now we've got to find our way through this loft. No dust suit needed. We'll regret that later on. So after sounding like I'm severely unfit, I climbed into the loft, moved a couple of bricks out the way, which enabled me access into the cavity. I grabbed the ferret tool that we got from Super Rod, which enables us to see into gaps and spaces we wouldn't normally be able to access. And from that, I could see that there was a lot of insulation piled high inside this cavity, but at least there was a cavity. When I first surveyed this job, me and the customer Steve had a good chat about how we were going to make it happen and get those network cables down into his lounge, and he understood the risks. This house was only converted from a barn into a house in around the 80s, and we're not 100% sure on what materials they used when constructing it. Drill this, I could rub pencil off. How rubbing off. Right, okay, so we've got top and bottom of our box there. Yeah. So if we aim to drill,
have you just marked it with a screwdriver?
I can go, if I go slightly above, yeah, I've just marked it with a screwdriver. If I come slightly above, it depends really on the angle of the drill. I can get the drill further enough down to make it work there. Let's grab the drill out of the van. Of that angle, it's not right. And this is where the problem started. No matter how many times I drilled and then tried to rod and then swapped to a different size drill and rodded again, I wasn't making any progress in getting us into the loft or even into the cavity that was in the living room. The customer even lent us his little camera that he uses to diagnose faults on engines to see if we could find what was the blockage. Yeah, it's like loose stone, isn't it? Yeah. Now there is gaps around them. So whether we can judge the rod enough to get past, I'm not sure. The little camera that Steve lent us was brilliant. It might have even been better than the ferret that we brought with us, which is about double the cost of this little camera he bought from Screwfix. But it enabled us to see right into the cavity and exactly into the holes in which we'd drilled. Now, as I've just said, there was a lot of loose stone in the walls, but I thought we might be able to push past that and eventually find a cavity. But it turns out there was just a hell of a lot of concrete beyond them. At this point, we just had to admit defeat and go back to the drawing board on how we were going to get these network cables to his lounge. I got my best plastering skills on to patch up the holes that we created, and then moved on to fixing an outside camera fault that the customer had asked us to look at. Then it was a case of packing the van and heading off site with our tail between our legs. As I said to the customer when we left, you win some and you lose some, and unfortunately on this occasion we lost. It's a bitter pill to swallow because we set off with such enthusiasm into the job, only to find that we were met with obstacle after obstacle. In the loft I thought I'd found a perfect little route and that there was definitely a cavity there, but from the drilling that we did downstairs there was no way we were going to achieve what was needed. On this occasion we failed. The one thing I have to take from this is we are going to fail. There's going to be times where this goes wrong, and there's going to be times in which life and business and doing this YouTube, that it's never going to be a straight line. It was never going to be simple or easy, or else everybody would do it. But it genuinely doesn't make me stop feeling gutted about how today turned out. But one thing I want to say is a big thank you to the customer. They let us into their home. They understood the risks involved in the job that we were taking out and that it might not be possible, and they were more than willing to get stuck in and help us try and find a solution. So yeah, thank you very much. Hey, well, such is life. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.